Welcome to Wager Talk TV, everyone. Minty Beth here, joined by Brian Leonard at B Leonard Sports on Twitter and Tony Finn at Wager Talk on Twitter. Be sure to give them both a follow. We're talking Sunday night football, and if I could, I would sing Carrie Underwood's Sunday night football song to open this up, but I can't. So we've got the San Francisco 49ers hosting the LA Rams. The Rams are a road favorite of 3.5 points, and the total set at 50.5. If I'm not mistaken, I think this line opened up with San Francisco being favored by 3 points, and now it's the Rams. I don't think I was early enough to catch that, but I did see on our Wager Talk live odds page. Anyway, let's start with you, Brian. Before we get into it, tell us the packages that you have up at WagerTalk.com right now.
Yeah, right now we've got our NFC game of the month up, and I put that up early. Fared very well on these games of the month, and also fared well on these games I put up early. I'll also have more NFL as the week goes on, college football and baseball. But yeah, I'm really interested in this game here. This is one that is going to be on my card this week, so I'm letting everybody know that I'm going to be on the LA Rams in this contest. It's a situation for me where the new NFL is all about passing, and we've seen all the teams that have success or the teams that can throw the ball. And there's such a difference here. You mentioned a line opening up at San Francisco -3. I think that might have been the look ahead from last week because, Jimmy Garoppolo was benched. Of course, he was benched not because he was injured. In fact, he really was injured. He's coming back from injury. But they benched him in the second half because they didn't want him to get hurt. And they were already really down there. And of course, all of us that had San Francisco on the teaser last week really appreciated that, Coach. But no, I can't blame him at all in that regard because he just didn't look himself. And when you can't plant your foot, you're not going to be able to throw the ball. And he sailed everything. Hopefully, he's going to be back this week and he's going to be healthy. I don't want anybody to be hurt. But in that case, we're going to go with the Rams here because of the passing and differential here. If you take a look at the Rams, they're first in the NFL in average yards per pass attempt at 8.68. The 49ers are 23rd at 6.68. That's a big 2-yard differential anytime these two teams go back to pass. That's a huge advantage, especially when you consider the Rams have a 2-yard average offensively in that regard. Plus, they're also leading the NFL in defending the pass, 5.56 yards per pass, whereas San Francisco's at 13th at 6.74. So when you add it all together, the Rams, every time there's a pass in their games, they're really taking advantage. And this is a situation right now, you really can't trust San Francisco. They've got a lot of injuries. They're having problems on the offensive line. Defensively has been really rough. We've seen how the defensive backs have really struggled as of late. I think that the Rams are going to have an easy game scoring here. And, the Rams are also second in defensive sacks per passing attempt, which means there's going to be a lot of pressure in the San Francisco backfield here. I really like the Rams here. I think even at 3.5 at this point, you could probably get a 3 -120. I still think that's a deal. I think as the week goes on, the more wise guys will be up there, and we'll see this close at 4.
Absolutely. I am loving the Rams as well. Tony Finn, how about you? Before we start, let's start with the packages you have up at WagerTalk.com.
As Brian, you can most likely get the ALCS, the NLCS, and as we advance into next week, and I'm not sure of the dates, but we'll have the Fall Classic, the finals, the World Series, the COVID World Series. You can get my NFL for this weekend and my college both up and available at WagerTalk, only at WagerTalk.
All righty. And who do you like in this one, the Rams or the Niners, Tony?
Well, we already talked. It's really difficult to actually not support, back, or believe, for that matter, that Jimmy Garoppolo and this 49ers team are anything like the team that were competitive for the most part on Super Sunday. It's night, it's day, it's black, it's white. It's amazing to say the least. But with rosters as they are in the NFL, it doesn't take a whole lot to make take a team from being competitive or at least playoff quality or playoff worthy to being an afterthought. And right now, let's be honest, if you watched any of this game and you saw Garoppolo, not only did he go to the bench because they were, I think coaching staff, obviously, I think Shanahan and his coaching staff wanted to protect Garoppolo because he didn't look right. He didn't look like he trusted that leg. He wasn't following through. He was short on his passes. And let's credit Brian Flores in his defense. He made life really miserable on the 49ers quarterback. I think he had a good idea that Garoppolo wasn't 100% or wasn't going to move like he typically moves. And they didn't blitz just often. They blitzed from the first snap until they had 5 sacks, I think, 3 on Jimmy G. So how do you like this team that's suffered a lot of injuries, that's playing a Rams team that really sleptwalked through that Giants game 2 weeks ago and then had to travel again 3 time zones east and dominated start to finish a Rivera team that's a mess. I think mess is being kind. You go from benching your quarterback to putting Kyle Allen, who was not proficient last year, with a more capable offense maybe than this one. It's hard to say that the Giants, but they were, I think. And then enters game managing Alex Smith, who I was glad to see him come back. It's good to see a guy who suffered that kind of injury get back into the game for the first time, I think, in almost 700 days, guys. I think that's right. And it was nice to see him get sacked like 7 times, too, pulverized, and get up with a smile on his face. Good stuff. Yeah. Again, the Rams defensive front, who feasted on Washington's line, should have a little more difficult time against the San Fran, but Miami sure didn't. Unless things change drastically, 3 seems to be a number that I could lay, and I'm sure it's not going to be. It's going to be 3.5. I think it's going to even climb a little more, but 3 was very attractive when I first saw it. Laying 3 to a San Francisco team that I think is right now is rudderless, and against a Rams team that's not going to perform again as they did against the Giants was a wake-up call. You saw it last week. I think you'll see it again this Sunday. The Rams by double digits.
Wow. All right. I cannot disagree. Guys, take $25 off any Tony Finn and Brian Leonard package 3 days or longer using coupon code TB25. That's Tony Brian 25 when checking out. Thanks for watching, guys.